I expect a raise, boss.
How about lunch?
My reputation must precede me. We people were jumping out of here like rats off a sinking ship. Once they heard it was me. But, and some of my students are still here. Some good wise enough to leave. Let me tell you. Let me give you some background, and then we'll talk about some case studies and just give you some perspective. I have learned entrepreneurship as a CPA. I worked for 26 and a half years. Somebody's got good judgment here. Fist pumping. I worked for 26 and a half years for a large international CPA firm called Arthur Anderson. Extra credit if you can tell me what happened to Arthur Anderson. They went down. That's a very kind way to say it. They, because of the Enron scandal, that firm essentially evaporated. And that's another story for another day. But I was a partner at Arthur Anderson. I worked for 26 and a half years in their small business division. And we specialized in working with small companies and nurturing them, helping them along the way, being a professional advisor for them. And we would help them through the whole process. We would meet them in their garage when they were just developing this disruptive, startling new technology. We'd help them with angel and venture capital. Help them grow and do an IPO. What's an IPO? Initial public offering. When they're on this growth curve, there are large amounts of capital needed when they're on that growth curve, and then we help them beyond that. Okay, so we grew up with them and we helped them along the way. Fascinating process to find these people that venture capitalists flash onto and want to.
So, could you talk about why people take money? Why are they taking money? Why the IPO? Why the venture capital?
Okay. When you're in your garage and you have this startling new technology, it's one thing to prove it to yourself. It's quite another then to put it into beta form, product form, and peddle it to the markets out there. And what happens between here and here is a big deal. You need development dollars, you need to get people on board. You need to spend money for what I call the 3 Ps of a successful business. Product. That includes my analysis of the market and my first customer. Product answers the question, what am I doing to solve a problem or fill a need? So this is also a market. Okay. People. And financing spelled my way. Well, you'll remember it, won't you? Okay. You can also call it the 3 M's: management and money. But having the right amount of cash at the right time along your development path is absolutely critical. I'm not sure I've answered your question, but there are some real critical needs as you progress as a fledgling company. I had a client called Tannen Corporation, and at the time that they started, they were creating a way to make the read, write, and erase heads on disk drives in mass production at a very low price. They actually went into the market intending to blow it up because they were going to offer disk drives at a much reduced price compared to what the market was paying at the time. That little company went from 0 to over 500 million in annual sales in less than 5 years. So think about that, and think about that track. 0 to 500 million. And what it would take to support that pipeline and have that kind of an expansion. Okay. So what happens here is there are critical capital needs, and we were helping these companies connect with venture capitalists and with the right advisors so they could go public to fill the capital needs. Okay? How do you fulfill the needs of customers to make 500 million in sales? What do you think your balance sheet looks like? Any thoughts about that?
Equipment and...
I'm going to have a lot more. I'm going to have a lot more inventory. Right? A lot more people. And all of that drives cost, doesn't it? And requires cash. Cam Newton would say.
I was going to say, you're going to have a whole lot of debt or a whole lot of equity.
Yep. And you've got to fund that. And if you don't have the right amount of money at the right time, you're not in business. Okay, so that's a process that we have to. I guess I would summarize the success of the companies that I dealt with in 3 ways. One, their product was dynamite. It filled a very specific need. Another company that I started with when they were in their garage was a company called Teradata. And they were the first to create terabytes of data storage and data analysis. They ended up selling that company for it was $540 million to NCR, the old cash for people. It was part of NCR for a few years and then got spun back off. But they had a product that filled a need, that solved a problem. And that was critical. That was absolutely critical. The next thing that they had, both Tandon and Teradata, that was so important to them was their people. You cannot do this without exceptional people with exceptional skills in the industry and the market you're trying to pursue. I had a legal buddy, Dick Reardon, who became a venture capitalist. He got out of the law practice that he was in and started a venture capital fund. I think that's a good idea. Anybody who would give religion after being an attorney, that's a good idea. He was a very successful venture capitalist. And I'll tell you what drove his success. He said, I bet on the jockey, not the horse. What do you think that means? Why was Dick Reardon very successful?
He goes off the entrepreneur, not the business idea.
He wants to know who's in the saddle, executing the plan, and making things happen. Yeah. So to him, team was the absolute critical source of success. Okay? He loved to see new technologies and startling new products, but he wanted to see a team that could execute the plan and make the company successful. So, I can't overstate these three things as critical elements of success. Let me tell you one story, and then we can open it up to questions you may have. I'll tell you a story about a little company that had developed some pretty remarkable technology for the time. It's really kind of, in fact, I'll explain it to you, but it's really kind of embarrassing that it was even high technology. It was a way for me to network hardware, printers, computers, and other things, using outlets. They used the hard wiring that was already in place and could plug something in, a piece of hardware in that had software drivers, and I could plug my computer into that outlet over there, and then I could print the stuff that I wanted printed on a printer down the hall or upstairs or wherever else. That was pretty astounding technology at the time. Now, of course, in a wireless world, that's kind of passé. My point is, that was startling new technology, and they attracted some venture capital money to the tune of about $400,000 so that they could start to sell beta product and confirm that the market wanted their product. And they could bring on some new people and start to get this thing to market. The founder of the company was just a brilliant engineer. Great engineering mind. When he got to this phase after that $400,000 of venture capital investment, venture capitalists got involved. And one of the neat things about getting venture capital involved is that you have access to an ever-widening network, and you can get people in different industries to come and join you. You can broker your relationship with venture capitalists to get the people you need to continue to grow. They being the venture capitalists, suggested that he get professional management to run the company, and that he focus his time and energies on continuing development of the product and refining the product. Does that sound like a logical plan to you? How would you feel if you were the engineer that started the company? Thumbs up on that?
I think it's hard for people to let go of control, but if they know that's not their area of expertise, then...
That's human nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it could be very hard. It's my baby, right? I started this, I created this technology. Two things that caused that company to fail. One, his failure to step out of the way and let someone professionally manage the development and roll out the product to the markets. And two, they didn't adapt to new networking software that came out. They just ignored what was happening in the market and ended up on an island somewhere with some technology that got sold to a Japanese company for about $250,000. Okay? It was really painful to watch. It was such a great little company, and yet he wouldn't yield to the need for professional management. Just was stuck in his lab, taking his approach to the answer rather than being aware of what was going on. I don't know. What comes to your minds? Any questions that you have that I can help answer about this process of growing and launching?
So my question, we were talking about like mentors. They said they advise us when to take money, when not to take money. What should we look for people that are willing to invest in that company? Be like, no, I don't really want to work with this guy, or yes.
I'll give you my, and I've seen that work very well, having the right venture capitalists and the right people involved. I think for one, you have to look them in the eye and feel comfortable that you can work with them. I think that of every relationship that you create in your network. I think if you're going to hire an attorney, you just don't pick a name. You find somebody that you can trust. That was the role that I was in as their CPA. They wanted somebody who could help hold their hand and help them grow. I think that's what you want, is somebody that you can trust. There are venture capitalists that specialize, okay? So I would find somebody who knows my industry, right? And knows the market that I am trying to penetrate. And that's pretty well known. You can go to their website and find out who specializes in everything. Information technology, biotechnology, and other things. I think that's how I would qualify someone to be my venture capitalist. I want somebody, it's just like when I hire somebody to come on my team, I want to fill a need, right? And venture capitalists should do that for my company, as should any advisor. Whether they're writing me a check or not. I may be writing them a check, right? Attorneys, accountants, bankers, insurance people. That's all part of my network. If I could give you any encouragement, I would encourage you to begin to build a network right now. It's almost too late. You need to get started right now. Building a network that you can draw upon and you can build upon. Start your company. Get it?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine.
So I'm wondering, so you were handling angels and venture capital investments? You were handling angel...
I was accounting for them.
Accounting for them? Okay.
Yeah, no, see, I was just brokering that service. I was helping people to connect with the right sources.
Oh, okay. So when you would be looking at business models or products, what were some of the buzzwords or the things that got you going when you looked at a product and thought this is viable? And what are some of the graces too when you saw any weakness from the person to the product or plan that you'd be like, well, we can manage this kind of...
Everything that looked like it was disruptive technology that would serve a huge market. That gets buzz going for accountants as well as venture capitalists. Okay? So it was market and prospective market that really got people to sign up. Okay? If I've got a new let's take an example. I've got a new concept for a pizza place. What's your initial reaction to that? Pretty noisy, cluttered industry, isn't it? So you're not in? But what happens if I'm delivering using drones? I'm just letting my imagination run wild. But my point is, it's got to have sizzle, I guess, for lack of a better. So I'm not sure that pizza drone delivery will ever take off. Watch, 10 years from now, I will be proven very wrong. But my point is, it really has to be a significant market with a significant upside, right, and scalability for my product to move into that. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So we always want to think that we're the best thing for our company because it's like a part of us that we put out into the world. But there are usually companies that are hindered by their entrepreneurs at low performance.
Like in my example, yeah.
Yeah, so what would you say is the point where it's time for them to step aside?
No, there's no check the box answer to that. They need to listen to people who've been there, done that, and know when to pull the trigger, to step aside. In the case of that little company with the networking product, if that CEO would have become CTO, Chief Technology Officer, or COO, or EIEIO, if he would have stepped aside when those who were counseling him, venture capital, I think that little company could have been successful and could have morphed into something that would have led the way on networking problems. So,
Thank you.
okay. Yes.
Kind of going off of hers, but what would you say would be, I want to say the proper way about going about, say like, you know, I am an entrepreneur and I have an invention and I'd like to push that out into the market. However, now that I've gone through the different professional ladders to try and figure out what I need to do as far as get this out there, I've come to the conclusion that I can no longer do a certain portion of this, but I do have a vision. And what happens if where the people that I'm in contact with have a separate vision for my product, but it will make the product successful? Do you think as an entrepreneur it'd be smart for me to let that vision go that way, or kind of step in and say, hey, you know, this is what I see, this is what I'd like to see?
Don't be so set in your ways that you won't pivot, okay? You may have an incredible technology, but it has applications beyond what you thought of or different than what you thought of. Don't ever close that door. Don't ever not allow yourself to pivot and go a different direction. I don't have a good guide for that because it's your vision. And I would hate for you to take a direction that is so different that you really don't have the passion for it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've got to have, the entrepreneur, the founder has to have the vision and be the driving force. And if you get too far away from that, find people that you trust. And if they're telling you, hey, that's a good pivot point or that's a good direction, consider it, right? And don't, like I say, don't be so stuck in your approach that you can't allow other approaches. I need to put in a plug for the Small Business Development Center. We're part of SUU. That's my full-time job. Well, I have a lot of different bosses. Do a lot of different things. But we're down at 800 South 510 West, behind the old Southwest Applied Technology College campus. We have offices, and we are part of SUU's outreach to the community. And we have a business resource center, and the crown jewel of that business resource center is a small business development center. And we are very happy to sit down with you and see where you're headed and help connect you with the right people to talk through your business concept and see if we can help nascent entrepreneurs get off the ground and get to launch. So that's my.
There's possible incubation phases.
We have some people that are in incubation there. Yeah, we do have some awesome opportunities for you to get things started at a very low cost. So, and we can support your efforts in incubation.
What does incubation mean?
Have you ever seen baby chicks in an incubator?
Yeah.
It's essentially that. We are taking a very early stage entity and helping to incubate it and grow it, and then we kick it out of the nest. We don't use those terms. Right. But that's the idea of incubation, is to provide a place and services that will help people while they don't have a lot of resources and while they're in the development stage. Okay, did I answer your question? Okay, so that's everything. Ed, you had enough of me? Yes.
I didn't want to waste everyone else's time, but more specifically, so what is a market that sounds interesting? Like what, 2 billion, or 200 billion, or millions, or what makes these angel investors? I guess it would depend on the angel investor.
And the breadth of their reach, right? You might find an angel investor here in Cedar City that says, let's do something cool for Cedar City, and geographically, that's as far as I need to go, I'm good, right? Well, that market has a much smaller market size, different definition than one that you want to go international. So there isn't a magic number there. We'd all like to have billion-dollar markets, right? I think there's one other point I need to make on markets. You need to carve out a niche. You need to carve out a piece of a market that you can control, that you can be superior in serving, and that you can beat the competition. Okay? Don't do a Me Too thing. Do something that is exceptional and new and different for your market. What I'm looking for any of you that want to start a business is a niche, one that you can control, that will give you better margins than a Me Too kind of an arrangement, because you're giving something that is exceptional and unique to your customer. Okay? They just struck me that I needed to say that. Maybe.
Write a number on board.
You can reach me at Isom, at SUU.E. Okay? If you want to call, 586, I know that you guys don't do that anymore. You're a call channel. But yeah, feel free to call, and we'll get you an appointment and come see us.
Hey, I want to thank Craig for doing this pinch hitting last second. Please give him